All right, here's what I did after the last video. So basically, what you want to do is you want to take a just a regular garden hose fitting and put it on the end of a hose, like that hose right there. That hose I got from Hydro Farm. I believe it's a 3/4 inch, just a rubber hose. So you want to get just a regular garden hose fitting, a female adapter, put that in the hose, put a hose clamp on it if you want. Some of this low pressure stuff, I know some of these fittings you don't have to have a hose clamp, but I put one on that anyway because it's going to be under there and I don't want no issues. So anyway, that goes around and it goes underneath those pipes right there. It goes in between the second and the third bucket, okay? That hose will loop around to a shutoff valve right here, and that's just a push-in shutoff valve. That's all that is. It will never leak. It's good to go. So, I mean, it takes a little bit of force to get that on there, but once it's on there, it's good. So basically, in case you have any drama with the pump, you could turn this off and swap your pump out without having to worry about water leaking all over the floor. All right, so it basically comes out of that line, the hose does, goes underneath these pipes, goes to the shutoff valve, then from the shutoff valve it goes to the pump. All right, and that's a 275 gallons per hour pump. That's what I'm using. This is all low pressure stuff. So basically my system is 47 gallons. So, I mean, that's I can get 6 cycles per hour with a 275 gallon pump. So basically the system is going through the water chiller and it's also going through cycles. So it's basically going from one end to the next 6 times in 1 hour. So that's plenty. That's all I've ever needed. You don't really need no more than that for recirculating. So anyway, then that hose goes up and then it goes into the water chiller right there. Okay, that's the inlet that goes into the water chiller. Then the outlet is just a regular garden hose that I bought from Lowe's. I think I paid like 30 bucks for it. All right, it's just a regular water hose, and I cut the end off of the water hose right there. I cut that end, and then that hose goes around. That's coming out of the water chiller. Then that just goes around, okay, and it goes back to the epi bucket. All right, and that goes into the top. A 3/4 inch, a 1 inch spade bit is what I use to get that real tight because you don't want no air, light leaks in here. So that gets it like really, really tight. See the hole? So that right there, that's a 1 inch spade bit is what I use to cut that hole, and that's it right there, 1 inch. Okay, that's exactly what that is. It goes right inside of there. So when you open this up to check your pH and your ppm and all that crap, all you got to do is just go like this, just like that, and you just let the water run. The lid hangs off the side. You don't have no drama. The I think the Hydro Farm or whoever undercurrent makes the pipe that comes in the side right here, the little side. I didn't like that at all because sometimes water would leak out the front of it, and you was limited to how high you could bring your water. So if the pipe comes in here, you could never go up past that if you wanted to. So if you wanted to like clean your roots or something, you just wanted to raise your water level up like super high, like for a couple hours, just to get, if you wanted to put like a like extra HydroGuard or some UC roots or something like that to bring it up, to get your roots clean and then drop it back down. You couldn't do that with that piece in the side here. So plus with the pipe being higher like that, I could actually use it, which is important to me because if it's just stuck into the side right here, you can't really use this water. So basically this is the fitting that I put in there, and all this is I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, it's on the list. But that just screws right into the female end of the water hose. All right, and then it just comes to a 90-degree elbow, and it's got a little piece of 3/4 inch PVC pipe shoved in there, and that's it. So when I want to do flushes, all I have to do is just unscrew this right here, and then hook my water hose to it. All right, the male end of the water hose into this. You know, turn the pump off or the shutoff valve, whatever. Turn that off. Hook your water hose up. Turn the pump back on, and then you can completely drain your system from this hose. And it's long enough so that I can pull it out and use it if I want to. Just say, for instance, I'm having issues with some roots or whatever. I could actually use this to top feed the hydrogen on the plants. So if I got a couple plants that are showing, like, you know, brown roots or whatever, I could actually use this hose to bring it over and top feed around the hydrogen to get, you know, because I use HydroGuard and I want to get some of that on the top section of the roots. I know some guys do it once a week. They just top feed their roots with HydroGuard, but I don't have to. I could use this and just turn the pump off, and then, you know, of course, turn it back on or whatever, however you want to do it. But yeah, this really comes in handy as far as that goes. All right. So basically that's that on the system. I just got to fill it up. I got to fill it up now, and yeah, it's ready to go. That's it. It's done. So I fill it up, and one thing I do have to do is put a shutoff valve inside of this. Now I'm just going to go over to my other system and go through that because I haven't done it on this yet. But anyway, basically, you can see this other system is built the same way. Okay. Now this right here is the running system. All right. You can see there's the air pumps that run down through the center there. But anyway, I basically put a top off float valve in here, so when the system starts to drop, this will go down. You see water coming in? That's actually already mixed up into the nutrient solution. Okay, this goes to the outside. All right, and also these buckets are insulated. I'd get R13 plastic covered insulation, and you cut it at 48 inches, exactly 48 inches, and then you can just wrap it around the buckets, and that really helps out a lot. That keeps the water chillers like hardly running at all. If you don't insulate them, your water chillers are going to stay on, your air conditioner is going to cycle a lot, and you're just going to drop your humidity. So, I mean, if you want that, then that's cool, but I don't want that. I just use a dehumidifier to set the humidity without, you know, having too much heat generated in the room. So anyway, it goes to that shutoff valve right there, okay? Then the line comes out of the epi bucket, and then it goes across the floor right here, all right? And I bought this stand. I bought that stand from Lowe's. I got 2 of them for 90 bucks, all right? And it holds like 5,000 pounds or whatever. Let me take these off of here. I think this is the last video, so this is everything. And so basically what I have is I got a 40-gallon tote. I got that from Lowe's too. I really like these because it's got the black top on it and it's completely light proof. I've checked it in the sun. It's awesome. So anyway, here's the top off. All right. And what I did was I put there's a fitting down in the bottom, okay? And look at that, man, look how clean that water is. So what I got is just a regular old aquarium pump in here. And that just constantly runs, and this water here stays at room temperature. I steer the system with this reservoir. So if my pH in the system is if I can see it crawling upwards, I'll drop the pH in here because this is actually trickling into the system. And this tells you exactly how many gallons of water your system is drinking per day. So basically I took 1 gallon and filled it up one at a time and made a mark on here. Once I got to 8, then I figured out that each one was the same. So all I had to do was just make marks all the way up. So right now it's saying that I have a little under 20 gallons, all right? So what I do is I'll check the ppm of the system, I check the pH of the system, And if the ppm is dropping, then I could raise this up a little bit inside of here, or the pH. I could steer the pH and the ppm with this top off reservoir. I have 20 gallons in here, okay? So I got a board that I use that I write on every day, and I'll show you that now. But anyway, this thing is awesome. This little aquarium filter right here, and it adds a lot of oxygen to the water. And I put my HydroGuard in here also, and I don't get no funk, man. It keeps everything stays nice and clean. I don't have any issues. So all that is in the bottom is just a it's a 1/8 PEX fitting. I put that in there also. So basically it's just that threaded, and then there's another little brass piece that screws on the top of it. I'll show you that in the other one, but yeah, it just goes to the bottom just like that. And yeah, it goes down, and that just goes gravity. That's just gravity fed straight into the bucket. And I have a shut-off valve on there when I want to clean out or whatever, if I want to rinse it out or take it out or turn it off. I'm doing a system flush, and I can just turn that off right there. That's all push in. It's 1/8, I think it's 1/8 to 1/4 inch PEX is all it is. You can get all that shit from Lowe's. So yeah. But yeah, that's my top off reservoir, and that always keeps my system filled 100%. So yeah, things are looking good. So anyway, I'll go over here to this other one, and this right here is a 55-gallon barrel, and I use that. That's hooked up to the RO system, and basically I have a shut-off valve in there also. So I keep 55 gallons of water at all times in there, and that's hooked to a shut-off valve. See that? So I just leave that on all the time, and it gives me access to as much water as I need. So when my top off reservoir gets low, then I just I put the stick in there, and if I got 4 gallons, then I know what nutrients to add back. Because if I got 4 gallons in there and I'm going to 20, then I need to put in the nutrients for 16 gallons. So that's the way it works. So I never get fuck ups from that. And I put HydroGuard in this also, but I don't put as much. I only put 1 milliliter per gallon just to keep it going, and I keep it circulated like that. And it don't get no weird funk or nothing going on in there. So that's good. So yeah, 55-gallon barrel. And I put a bulkhead down the bottom, hooked it to a 200 gallon per hour pump, and man, it's good to go. I love it. Shut-off valve on it, so I can turn the shut-off valve if I want to take the barrel outside and rinse it off or whatever. I mean, you got to be prepared for this shit, you know, because it just makes everything easier. I didn't have all this in the beginning. I just added all this shit later to make things easier. So there was no book or video for me to watch to put all this crap together, so I had to build it and do it, and it just got better over time. I just made changes, started taking stuff out, especially on this one. I used to use mostly pipes. Then I went to hoses, and everything is just so much easier. You know, being able to pull that hose out of there and be able to use it when I want. Yeah, this system is just straight up bulletproof. So anyway, what I wanted to show you, this is the last thing, and I might do an update after I get the plants put in there and everything's running. But anyway, this is a board that I use right here, and basically the top number, the S is the system ppm, and then the T is the top off reservoir. All right, and then the pH, and then the blue numbers are the gallons. So you can see it went from 20 to 16 to 12. So they're drinking about 4 gallons a day. And you want to stay on top of that, because if you notice they start drinking less, then you got an issue. You want to, look into it or whatever. So yeah, you gotta stay on top of that. So I just got this board right here, and I keep, I keep track of the weeks and stuff, and they're just dry erase markers. And basically, when I get to like the 18th, and I just go right back up to the top, and I, just keep going over. So I just keep up with that, keep track of the way the pH is drifting. So you can see right there, on the 21st, I went from 5.8 to 5.4. Don't know what happened, don't know why, but it just did. So I had to start looking at stuff and figuring out what was going on, and I noticed that that the system went from 690 to 730, then it went up to 740, 750. See how the system PPM started rising, and I looked at my plants and I noticed they looked like they were being overfed. So I went ahead and did a flush yesterday and reset everything back. So I put the system at 630, top off at 520. That's what you got to do, man. You got to stay on top of this shit and stay organized. Because if you don't, you're just gonna have a clusterfuck, and you might as well just go grow in dirt or something. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're gonna run hydro, you got to really stay on top of it and be organized. You know, the more the better if you want to be successful. If you don't want to be successful, then I guess just turn the video off and go back to what you were doing. But I'm just telling you the way I do it, and the shit works. So, but yeah, anyway, this top off. See the little brass fitting down in there? That just screws right on top. And I put the list of all the parts. I put the list of all the parts in the on the forum, THC Farmer. That's where all they're at. It's Heisenbubble's do-it-yourself undercurrent. So all the link to all the parts that you're going to need to put all this stuff together is all in there. So yeah. So I hope I went over everything. Basically, from where I left off yesterday, you know, the system was built. All you have to do is add the hoses the way I told you, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, that hose right there comes right out, man. And some guys use filters and shit. I just think that's stupid. I don't think you need a filter, especially, you know, if you keep your system clean. Sometimes what you can do is take a pair of pantyhose. I mean, if you really feel the need to use a filter, which I never have, and you can see how clean my water is, like right here. I mean, damn. That water is like really clean. There's no issues. But I guess if you just feel the need to use a filter for whatever the fuck reason, I don't know, you can take a pair of pantyhose and stick it on that pipe and throw it on a rubber band around it if you really want to. And I guess it'll just catch all the extra shit. But if you're doing 2-week flushes, then what the fuck difference does it make if you got a little bit of root matter in there? It ain't gonna matter. It's really not. So yeah, but you could, I mean, if you really feel the need, I guess you could, you know, put a pantyhose. Sometimes I put a t-shirt, a white t-shirt over top of the lid right here, and just run it in there to actually see how much shit collects, and it ain't much. It ain't much to even worry about. So I just stopped doing it. Really don't need a filter. And let me see what else. There was a lot of things that I used to do when I, you know, first started or whatever, but I've changed a lot over the last few years, and it's all been for the better. You know what I mean? I used to use big giant buckets and fucking 800 gallons of water, and oh my god. But I noticed that less is always more. You know, I mean, you can see with this shit right here, man. Less is always more with these systems, guaranteed. You know, that's just the way it is. You got to really watch your plants, watch what they're doing. And the good thing about this system is that you can make a change on the fly. You notice something weird going on, CalMag deficiency, bam, put that shit in the reservoir and you're good to go. You know, you'll see changes right away. It doesn't take like soil. It takes like 10 days for something to show up, and you're trying to you're chasing your tail because you're trying to correct something that you did like 10 days ago. With hydro, you could correct something today that fucked up yesterday and it's fixed. It's always that way. So, so yeah, when it comes to growing, my opinion is be a proactive grower and not a reactive grower. You know what I mean? Like, proactive means you're already 2 steps ahead of the game. Don't wait for shit. You know, make sure you put the effort and time into figuring out what your plants need before they start showing those deficiencies. And you know what I'm saying? Like, get a system and a pattern, you know, like one after another, instead of always reacting and just throwing the fucking kitchen sink at your grow, everything but the kitchen sink. You can't figure out what is really wrong. So you can only correct one thing at a time, because if you try to correct too many things, you're going to have problems. So yeah, just be a proactive and not a reactive grower. And that's the way I see it. And basically this system runs itself. You know, like I said, there's a top-off reservoir that's going to get plumbed into that. I'm going to put the shut-off valve in there. And yeah, everything's good. Basically, all I got to do is come in here and fill that thing up, steer the system. I do a flush every 2 weeks if I really want to. And it basically runs itself. You know, for having as much as I got here, it's really not that much work, honestly. You know, I mean, I couldn't imagine having to come in here and hand water all this shit every 3 days. I used to do it a long time ago, and I just ain't made for that shit no more. I can't do it. So anyway, all right, well, that's it. And I might update later after I get everything put up, get the plants in, and then I'm gonna, I already got the hooks and everything set up for all the lights going up here. And so yeah, this I'm looking forward to this run. This is gonna be fun because I just got a new light, the new 1000 watt CMH, and I'm really curious to see how well it's gonna do with these strains. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, well, that's it.